Okay, so the concept is in JavaScript. How to access elements, classes, and ID from HTML to JS. From JavaScript, how to access elements, classes, and ID from HTML to JS. The first one is access elements. So how to access elements from HTML to JavaScript, and how to access classes from HTML to JavaScript, and how to access ID from HTML to JavaScript. Three things we see. So let me take one simple diagram. So here I'm taking a paint. So let me go with the diagram. So this diagram, treat this box is going to be HTML, and inside the HTML, all similar elements are in one group. All similar classes in one group, but IDs are going to be unique. IDs are like this. Okay, so for example, these are the different tags, but similar tags, nothing but all are H1s. And here all these similar classes, whatever the class name you are going to be mentioning for all the elements, it should be the same class. All similar classes, all similar elements are going to be storing in array. Okay, so all similar elements are going to be storing in array. At the same time, all similar classes are going to be storing in array. And all these are IDs. Okay, so we'll be having some IDs. ID, and everything is ID here. IDs are single, but all similar elements are going to be storing in array. Similar elements. This point is very important. Similar elements. And here all similar classes. Similar elements or similar classes are going to be storing in array. Unique IDs and unique IDs are actually unique. And let me save this. Okay, so save. Okay. I'm creating a new folder now, and this will be some folder like 12 by 11. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to write a program for this. Before writing program, we need to understand syntax, how to access elements like document dot get elements plural. Why? Because array, right? Document dot get elements by tag name. So the name of the tag we need to mention. So for example, h1, and index we need to mention something like 0. And this is for access elements. And how to access classes, document dot get elements by tag name. And here, instead of tag name, I should give the class name. Elements by class name. The name of the class, whatever you want. Suppose this is my class, my CLS. And at the same time, you need to specify the index. Index is 0. And how to access ID? ID accessing now. Document dot get element by ID. Document dot get element by ID. Name of the ID name. That's it. So these three syntaxes are very, very important. The first one is access elements. Second one is access classes. Third one is access ID. Okay, so let us see how the access elements are going to be working. Let me save the notes. Okay, so this will be the notes. First concept is how to access elements. Desktop level. Access elements. Access elements.html. And let me have multiple elements. Okay, so I'm writing first element, and I'm writing second element, I'm writing third element, and I'm writing h2 now. H2 is something like again web development. Okay, so I will be having one more h2 here, and finally I'm writing script now. Script. This script is going to be now access elements. How to access elements? Very simple, straightforward. Document dot get elements by tag name. Name of the tag we need to mention. The tag name is basically h1, and index is 0, h1 of 0. And let me show alert box. Let me show alert box. What is this element will be? Alert of document dot. Okay. So let me execute this. Open in default browser. I will be having something. So object HTML heading element. I got HTML heading element over there. Okay. But the thing is, I don't want to show the element. I want to see the inner text. Whenever you want to see the inner text, there is a method called inner HTML. Let me write that method here. Inner HTML. Inner HTML is the JS method. is the JS method, which is going to be using for show inner text of element. Inner HTML is the JS method, which is going to be using for show inner text of element. Inner text, whatever the inner text which is going to be available, that particular inner text I'm going to be accessing now. Okay, so let me show that alert box now. I'm trying to accessing the inner HTML here. So let me write the inner HTML here. Inner HTML. This is used for get inner text from element. Okay, now alert box is going to be accessing document dot get elements by tag name h1 of 0 inner HTML. Inner HTML matlab, so inner HTML is going to be working on web development. Web development is the first element text we are going to be accessing. But I want to change this one. Okay, so this one document dot get elements by, so the complete inner HTML I'm taking after the alert is equal to, I want to upgrade with something like Srinivas currently. So now you can find first of all alert is web development, and after that was updated with the Srinivas Gorantla. I got changed. Element got accessed and element inner text got accessed or inner HTML got accessed and inner HTML got updated with something like Srinivas Gorantla. Okay. So in the same way we try to work with let me access the second h1. Second h1 is this one, right? So how to access the second h1? Second h1 is going to be accessed like this. Second h1 is h1 of 1 inner HTML Srinivas Gorantla full stack development. Okay, fine. Execute it now. So this is going to be giving you very clear picture. Web development is fast. Then after that, Srinivas Gorantla full stack web development got updated with the second h1. Whenever you want to access the second h1, the index is needed. First h1 index is 0 and second h1 index is 1. And I want to access the h2. If I want to access the h2, what is the code for that? Document dot get elements by tag name, document dot get elements by tag name h2 now. This time h2. h2 of 0 inner HTML. I want to give something like from Hyderabad. Okay, fine. So let me execute it, open in the default browser. So web development, that is okay. And from Hyderabad, I got updated h2. First h2 is nothing but a 0th element. In the same way, we try to go with the classes. How to working with the classes. New program, save it as access classes.html. Access classes.html. Okay, so let me take multiple h1s here, web development, and the first h1, which is going to be having the class 1. The same class I want to apply for the multiple elements now. Okay, so the multiple elements I'm taking. So this one is h2. Second time this one is h2, and this one is having class 2. Okay, now these two are in one group, and this is a separate group. And this one is 1 and 2 and 2. These h1 and h2 is in one group, and this h1 and h2 is one group. Let me take one paragraph also. And paragraph also having the class called 1. And here I'm taking a paragraph. This paragraph also having the class called 2. Fine. So this is one group now. At the same time, this is one group now. Now finally, we try to write the JavaScript for all these things. Script document dot get elements by class name. Name of the class is 1 of 0 dot inner HTML is equal to something like full stack. Open in the default browser. I got updated with that full stack. So can we see this is full stack? I got updated with that. And I want to do one thing. Document dot get elements by tag name 1 of 0. Change style for this. Dot style dot color is equal to, I want to update the color for this. Color should be something like red. So color is getting updating now. Style color is updating now. So if you want to update the color, let me write the notes for that. Update CSS from JavaScript. If you want to update the CSS from JavaScript, what we need to do is dot style dot property is equal to value. Okay, for example, we have the element like this. Dot style dot color, properties color is equal to value nothing but red. So this is the way of updating the CSS. For example, if I want to change the font style, you can change the font style like this, font style. And we need to remember something. CSS is different, HTML is different. In CSS, properties something like color. In JavaScript, same color. This is in JS, this is in CSS. Try to understand, this is in CSS and this will be in the JS. And in the part of the CSS, suppose for example font hyphen style. But in the case of the JS, font style like this. Whenever we have the hyphen is going to be converting into the camel case. And something like font weight, that is going to be changing to font weight. Yeah. the text align, that is going to converting to text align. See, the thing is, whatever the properties in CSS, all these properties are going to be making changes with camel cases in the JavaScript. That is the only major difference between the CSS and JavaScript about the properties. Now this is the color, right? And after that, I want to make it text align. Text align. Document dot get elements by tag name 1 of 0 dot style dot text align. Text align center. Center. When I do center, automatically full stack is going to be changing the text. At the same time, full stack is going to be aligned to center. So that's all enough. This is the way of applying CSS. In this program, we are trying to apply the CSS. That CSS is very simple. Each and every property separately we are actually giving. Changing CSS in JavaScript. Okay, fine. This is very simple, straightforward. Now this is about classes. What about ID? Access ID. Access ID.html. Access ID.html. Let me write some headings. Development. And one more ID. So this is having ID called 1. And this is having some ID called 2. ID 2. What my requirement is, I need to access the ID separate. Document dot get element by ID. Get element by ID. ID name is something like 1. 1 of 0. No, index we can't provide like this. Directly you have to specify the unique ID. Document dot get element by ID 1. That's it. Dot inner HTML is equal to something like hello JavaScript. JavaScript. Open in the default browser. So I'll be having a hello JavaScript over there. I got updated the text hello JavaScript here. This is the way of giving the ID access. ID access is very simple. This is not plural now. This is singular over there. Document dot get element by ID 1, and inner HTML is going to be hello JavaScript.